The last to break free. Djibouti's late road to independence. By the time most of Africa had torn off the colonial chains, one small country on the Horn of Africa was still watching ships pass through the Red Sea under a foreign flag. It was 1977, and only then did Djibouti finally become its own. While the rest of the continent had marched, bled, and voted its way to freedom in the 1950s and 60s, Djibouti remained under French rule, clinging to the edge of the map like an unfinished chapter. This is the story of how the last French colony in mainland Africa stepped into the modern world, not with a revolution, but with a quiet, complicated reckoning. A port too valuable to let go. Djibouti, once called French Somaliland, wasn't just another colony. It was a strategic lifeline. Sitting at the mouth of the Red Sea, it watched over the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for global trade between the Suez Canal and the Indian Ocean. For the French, this wasn't about territory, it was about access, control, a way to project power eastward, and for years they held on. Identity divided. Inside the borders of this tiny territory, two major groups lived side by side, the Isa, Somali-speaking, and the Afar, Cushitic-speaking. France used this ethnic divide to maintain influence. When a 1958 referendum offered a chance to break away, many Afar and pro-French Somalis voted to stay, fearing dominance by neighboring Somalia. But time was catching up, and so was the will of the people. The winds shift. In the 1960s and 70s, African nationalism surged again. Neighboring Ethiopia and Somalia had already become republics. The port city of Djibouti had become a hub not just for ships, but for ideas, of sovereignty, of representation, of something better. A second referendum came in 1977, and this time the result was clear. Over 98% voted for independence. June 27, 1977. A new flag rises. The French withdrew. A new flag, pale blue, green, and white with a red star, took its place. Hassan Gouled, a longtime nationalist leader, became the first president of a brand new republic. No war, no revolution, just a quiet, proud declaration. We are Djibouti, and we are free. The quiet exit that meant everything. In a world that often romanticizes bloody uprisings and dramatic declarations, Djibouti's independence may seem modest. But in many ways, it was a masterclass in patience and persistence. It was just the end of colonialism. It was the last page of France's African empire finally turned. And on that page, Djibouti wrote its own name.